Welcome to Realm Painters. If you're watching this and this is your first experience with us, what are you doing? Go watch part 1, you silly goose! If you're not new, welcome to part 2 of my Immolator series. I just finished the top part of my tank yesterday. I'm still having a lot of fun painting it so far, which is a good sign, but I won't take too much of your time since this is part 2 of the series. But if you've come to watch part 2, you might as well like and subscribe for part 3 next week. But anyways, let's get into this. Let's start by painting the rails with Leadbelcher. Make sure you paint both the outside and the inside sections of the rails. After that, give them a good wash of Nuln Oil. Then, after that's all dry, you can optionally give them a quick edge highlight with Runefang Steel. You thought you'd be safe from edge highlighting things this video? I'm sorry, but that will not be the case. Now with a similar recipe, let's paint the grates on the tank. You can either use a normal brush or dry brush for painting the section with Leadbelcher. But I think my trusty little dry brush will get the area covered with more ease and avoid clumping paint into those tiny holes. If you get any silver on the black panels, just go ahead and fix the black with Abaddon Black. Next, give it a wash of Nuln Oil. After it's close to or fully dry, dab on some Agrax Earthshade to add some dirt into the grates. Next up, let's start on that altar. Let's begin by painting the wood sections. With dried bark, base coat the outside and the inside of the wooden panels. Then, since I want that reddish brown, let's use a very watered down wash of Sigvald Burgundy. Let that completely dry before doing another coat. I personally did 2 coats so I could keep some control on the opaqueness of the burgundy, just to avoid it from getting too pink. After you get your preferred color, go ahead with Nuln Oil and wash the cracks in between the planks of the wood. I recommend going by section and leaving it dry facing up so the Nuln Oil stays in place. Now let's paint the trim around all that wood. Give it all a base coat of Leadbelcher, making sure to avoid the wood surfaces and making sure to paint the trim on all sides of the altar. Then give that all a wash of Nuln Oil. Next up, we'll paint the statue. Base coat it with many layers of Wraithbone. I recommend watering it down and painting many coats rather than just doing one solid coat, since Wraithbone tends to clump easily. Then wash the statue down with watered down Agrax Earthshade. I don't want to put down too much or too saturated, since I only want minimal shading in the creases of the statue, as if they made sure to keep her clean. Now with Hashit Copper, base coat her halo. Then wash it down with a wash of Rakeland. Now we only have the candles and the cloth displayed around the altar. Let's start with the candles by painting most with Ushabti Bone. We'll also include a couple that are coated in Corn Red and Brock Burgundy if you're using the box art as reference. Once you get all those colors down, let's highlight the edges in drips. First off with the purple candles, edge highlight them with corn red. Then with the red candles, edge highlight them with Mephiston red. Lastly with the cream candles, highlight them with Wraithbone. Next up, let's finish the candles by painting the flames. As you can see, a couple of my flames have broken off unfortunately, however they should all have little flames. Unfortunately I don't. Anyways, let's start off by base coating them with Evil Sun Scarlet. Then with Troll Slayer Orange, paint most of the flame excluding the tip. Next with Uriel Yellow, water it down a little bit and paint mostly the base of the flame. Now with a mix of Uriel Yellow and white, paint the very base closest to the wicks only, making sure that's the lightest section of the flames. Lastly with Dryad Bark, paint the wicks of the candles. Now onto the very last section, the fabric around the altar. With any white, water it down a little bit and paint many layers. It took me about 5 coats to get it fully opaque. Unfortunately, I was too afraid to add the red design onto the fabric since red is so difficult to fix with white if you mess it up, so I just gave myself the excuse that they just wanted to keep it nice and clean for some reason. But if you're strong-willed enough, I recommend using either corn or Mephiston to add the design onto the fabric. But now the altar is done! Now let's get into the turret section. Let's start off by stippling most of the model with Abaddon Black. We'll do that just so if we make any mistakes later on, we'll be able to easily fix it with Abaddon Black later. But we'll be covering the main section of the turret and the base of the guns. Then, once the paint is dry, let's go ahead and edge highlight the black sections. I start edge highlighting the main section of the turret, and then after that edge highlight the base of both guns. Of course, like part 1 of the series, you only need to do as much edge highlighting that you want to do, but I have a fun time doing it, so I just go ahead and paint most if not all edges. After that, let's go ahead and paint the silver sections on the base with Leadbelcher. Make sure to paint the arches, the little pillars in the back, the gear shifters including the controller pad, and the base of her chair. Then with some Nuln Oil, paint over all those silver sections. Once the Nuln Oil is dry, use Runefang Steel and edge highlight all of the sections. Next up, let's paint the fleur-de-lis on the sides with Runelord Brass. Don't forget to paint the ones that are facing inward as well. When I get those done, I also decide to paint the tips of the pillars and the back with Runelord as well. You can keep those silver if you want, but if you want some extra flair, use some Runelord. After that, give those fleur-de-lis a hefty wash with Agrax Earthshade. Then once it's dried, edge highlight with Runelord Brass. Next up, let's get those 2 guns finished. Start off by painting Leadbelcher at the base of the gun and the barrel cover. Also, while you're at it, paint the couple little rivets on the back sections of the gun. Now with Nuln Oil, wash all the silver sections. Once that dries, now you guessed it, edge highlight the base of the gun and the barrel cover with Runefang Steel. Next up, let's start on the copper sections by painting the exhaust case with Hashut Copper. It took me a couple coats to get it fully opaque. Then with Screaming Bell Copper, paint the indented sections of the barrel tip. Once you get all those divots painted, go ahead with Hatchet Copper to paint the outer sections of that barrel tip. Now that you have all those copper sections put down, get some Rayclan Flush Shade and wash all of those sections. Lastly, with Liberator Gold, edge highlight the exhaust cover and optionally the outer section of the tips. Now that the copper sections are completed, we can paint the tip and the tube cover with lead belcher and then give that a wash of Nuln Oil. Next up, with Retributor Gold, paint the wires on all those barrels. Then with Abaddon Black, go ahead and paint the hazard stripes down the wire. You can easily use the Retributor Gold to clean up the sections if need be. The last bit of the gun will be pretty simple. With Corn Red, paint those two little dots on each side of the gun and you're done with the gun section. Now let's start with the sister. First up, give her a wash of Abaddon Black on all of her armor. Then with Fenrisian Grey, edge highlight the power armor and her gloves. Next, with Lead Belcher, lightly dry brush the tubes on her collarbones. Then with a regular brush, dot on the Lead Belcher onto the rivets on her pauldrons and gloves. Now with any white, let's paint the symbols on her pauldrons. Make sure you water down the paint just a little bit and do a couple layers to get a smooth coat of paint and to avoid any clumps. Then with Apothecary White, wash both symbols. Then with Hatchet Copper, paint her symbol on her collar and the clasps on her waist. Then with Rayclan, wash all those copper pieces. Next up with her cloak, base coat it in Mephiston Red. This should take about 3 coats to get it fully opaque. Then with Corn Red, shade the inner folds throughout her cloak. Then with Evil Sun Scarlet, highlight the upper folds and creases. Also, don't forget to edge highlight her sleeves. If you do like, you can blend the colors together to get a smoother transition. However, since she is pretty covered up once the tank is done, I don't think it's really necessary. Now onto her face. Like previous tutorials, I'll start off by base coating her whole face in Dunebowl Brown. Try to avoid the eyes if able. Then with the mix of Ushabti and Dunebowl Brown, start building up the highlights. With the first coat of highlight, I don't have an exact ratio, however for the first highlight, have about 40% Ushabti, 60% Dunebowl. After the first highlight, make a lighter mix and start painting the sections where light would hit most, which would be the cheekbones, nose, and brows. I basically go back and forth with highlighting and shading until I like how it looks, just with those two paints. Then onto the eyes. With any white, carefully dot the paint onto the eye. If you'd like, you can also dot the middle of the eye with any color. Personally, I don't mind leaving it just white. Then with Nuln Oil, I like to pull it in the edges of the eyes so they'll have a more distinct outline. Now onto the hair, base coat it with Fenrisian Grey. Then with any white, start to paint the streaks of hair. It will take a few coats, just make sure you keep some of the streaks dark gray to keep that shading in. And you're done with the body. Let's continue on to the last part of the turret by finishing the chair. With corn red, base coat the front padding of the chair. This may take about 2 to 3 coats. Then with Mephiston red, edge highlight the padding. You can see that there are creases on the edge, so make sure to highlight the bottom edges to make those creases pop. Now onto the wood section. With this, we'll use the same recipe from earlier and base coat it in dryad bark. Then give it a couple washes of watered down burgundy to tint the wood. After it's all dry, wash the lines between the wooden posts with Nuln Oil to shade the creases. Next up, let's paint the metal trim with Blood Belcher. Make sure to paint both front and back. Then with Nuln Oil, wash all of the trim. Lastly, edge highlight with Runefang Steel. Here's onto the last step of the turret. Paint the fleur-de-lis on her chair with Hachette Copper, making sure to paint them on both sides. After that, wash them both with Reikland Fleshshade. Lastly, edge highlight with Liberator Gold, and you're done! And just like that, you finished the turret and the altar for the Immolator. Like I said in the intro, I really enjoyed painting this so far, so I'm just hoping that this last section after this will do good. I hope you guys found this tutorial useful. I was kind of learning on the fly when it came to the wood planks on the altar and the seat, since I couldn't find any good recipes for them, but I think but I kind of liked how mine turned out. And if you liked how it turned out, or just liked any part of the series, please do the YouTube pleasantries and like and subscribe, since we're nearly at 500 subs, which is crazy. So happy. Thank you guys. As always, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next realm. Is that okay? Maybe.